And it's going to help you in these rainy days when coach gets you outside to work hard. It's going to help you when you're in the classroom. It's going to help you when you fall asleep like now. Embrace it. Embrace it. Because that's it.
Stand up. You falling asleep, stand up.
Rub my eyes.
Stand up.
See what? See what? Really? Rub my eyes? Okay. Okay.
How long is this week?
Let me say this, gentlemen. You look really good in your shirt tie. You look real good. And instead of trying to be a half-dressed cat, you need to learn how to rock that real good. Because what's going to happen is you may be uncomfortable about wearing your shirt and tie because it's not cool. But this is the uniform of the day. When you leave Edison, this is the look that's going to take you to the next level. Your talent will only get you so far, gentlemen. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to call your coach, who went on to the University of Kansas, an excellent program, and played on a different level, has professional contacts. They're going to call your coach and say, tell me about that young man. Well, he's good, but, you know, he's not focused. He's good, but he's not disciplined. He's not going to mess up his reputation when he talks about you all, and I wouldn't do the same thing. So don't get caught up in the hype of what you think is cool. Do what's right. The great thing about having a coach is that you have someone who's there to watch you, who knows you probably better than you know yourself. And everything they're going to give you, they're trying to help you with it. Now, somebody's favorite line, I was a coach, they may say, oh, coach don't like me. Well, that may be true. But guess what? The coach doesn't have to like you. All the coach has to do is get the best out of you. Get the best out of you, and you in return get close what he needs so you can be successful. So you got to keep that in mind. Let me talk about some other things with the book that I wrote. I wrote a book called Unlikely Saviors, Realizing the Positive Impact Athletes Can Have on Society through Philanthropy. And this came when I was at Michigan State at the championship high school basketball game, and I looked around me and I saw all these people who knew everything about the players. And the players had swag, major swag. Just like you guys had that NBA, NFL swagger already. They knew everything about where you were going, what your future was going to be. And what you have to think about, guys, is that you need to use that power you have right now, like a Jedi would, use it for good and not for evil. People are looking up to you in this school already. Just by getting dressed in your uniforms, the numbers have increased. People are going to respond well to you, and you don't need to use that attitude or that bravado to be a bully. I know some of you are, because it's easy. That's the easy route to take. And sit around and say bad things and push people, and guess what? When you do that, everybody else will respond to you. Let's talk about social media, and I talk about that in the book too. You need to be able to use this social media to your benefit. Now, I'm sure you guys know this right here. The Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., which archives all the information throughout the country, throughout the world. Do you know that they're keeping all tweets forever? Anything you put on Twitter, it's going to go to the Library of Congress and be connected to your name forever. So what does that mean? Let's not talk about your legacy in a year, or when you graduate from Edison, or when you go on and start a family. Let's talk about your legacy when you're gone from this planet. It's going to say that this young man, during these years, talked about these type of topics. Now, when you think about that, what do you really want your legacy to be? You want it to be that you were about encouraging people, saying positive things, so when your grandchildren look you up online, they can say, Grandpapa he was a real positive dude. Well, many of you right now, that day came right now, they say, Grandpa was nasty. Grandpa was foul. Grandpa cursed all the time, he disrespected women. Grandpa was dirty. I ain't naming my kid after that man. See, it's all about legacy, young man. It starts right now. I don't care what yesterday was. Coach said already, everybody gonna be here. But guess what? He's not looking for the most talented player on the field. He's looking for the most committed individual. The right attitude. Coming to class on time. Encouraging your fellow players. Dressing the part. When he sees that effort, he's going to say, I got to have that kid. Because let me tell you, talent don't do it all, baby. And when you get to the next level, whether it's college or Lord forbid, the professional level, that doesn't mean you safe in life. If everyone in this room went to the NFL, well, first of all, it's statistically impossible for that to happen. But let's say we all close our eyes and we go to the league. I don't know if everybody's doing it, you probably should be. You went to the league. What's the average lifespan for somebody in the NFL? About 3 to 5 years. And at 3 to 5 years after that lifespan, 75% of people who go to the NFL become bankrupt. So So guess what? You can be the best player at Pioneer, best player in the state of Michigan, best player in the country. Well, when you turn about 25, 30, you start all over again. So all these relationships and these skill sets you build right now are critical. You hear me? Critical. They end up NBA players, NFL players, they're broke right now. They didn't get their education, they have nothing right now. I'm telling you, it's a bad feeling when you have millions and now you got to live off something less than that. As opposed to you guys just becoming quality individuals. And the next thing I want to talk about, and your coach talked about too, he's going to have you involved in charity and philanthropy. Philanthropy being how do you give back to others. You see, this philanthropy can work two ways for you. You can be involved in charity, you can go out and help others, but when you help others, what does that go do for you? That's going to help you. You need to erase your individual goals. You can have people at home getting in your ear saying, man, you should go ahead and get these stats up. You got to do your thing, you got to shine. But if you say, let me think about what's beneficial for the whole team, you're going to shine anyway. Because when the coaches come in, they don't need another individual player. I know pro basketball players who told me directly, man, this is the first time they didn't need me. Hey, be the sweetest guy over here at Edison. Sweetest in Detroit, sweetest in the state of Michigan. But when you go to that next level, baby, they recruited all throughout the country. Everybody trying to get your spot. The coach don't care. He wants the best person. So if you get that attitude that your swagger is going to carry you through from Edison and beyond, I'm telling you now, you're in for a rude awakening. So that's why you need to listen to your coach. He has the experience, he has the commitment. They're not going to steer you wrong. And I guarantee you this, you may not become a professional athlete, but you'll become a professional man. If that could come in any better time, I don't know.
Aaliyah Brantley to the main office. Aaliyah Brantley to the main office.
So what do I mean by that being a professional man? Because you're going to listen to your coaches at this point. You're going to be about a team effort. You're going to be about giving more to others than thinking of yourself. And you'll be a great man when it comes to the relationships you're involved in. Healthy relationships with your wife. Healthy relationships with your children. Healthy relationships with your community. And let me tell you something. A professional man can do anything. I didn't play ball in the college level, but I kill anybody I came up with playing right now. And I still play today. Okay? That's from the sports standpoint. But it's not all about that. A few people I have in the book wrote about Indomitian Sue. You know about Indomitian. Worked with him in his foundation. It was a great experience. We did some things through social media and the Horatio Williams Foundation, which is going to be working closely with you guys going forward. Working with Indomitian was great. Built a great relationship from being in his home with his family to being in the suite during the games. That's awesome. That's just one level of where you can take the game. Everyone's not going to be an Indomitian Sue. However, Indomitian has an engineering degree. Did you know that? Indomitian is extremely smart. He may be one of the most violent players in the sport right now, but he's extremely intelligent. And young man, let me tell you, that's what's going to carry you to the next level. Focus on your academics, because the sport's going to always be there. And Lord forbid something happens to take you away from the sport. An injury, or even a genetic issue that you don't even know about, takes you away from the sport. Then what do you have? What are you going to do when the cheering stops? They used to call your name and scream, oh, he was the man. But when you're not playing the sport anymore, then what are you going to do? That's why embracing charity is so important, young man. Being involved in a charitable organization, being involved with your church, being involved as a coach and giving back. Get away from that selfish attitude and that selfish mentality. I want to say one thing before I wrap up and we can have some questions. In my book, I talk about Hill Harper. Everyone know Hill Harper from CSI? Yes, thank you. He wrote a book called The Wealth Cure. Very good book. And he talks about something in this book, and I want you guys to think about this. He talks about what's important to you that doesn't require money. I probably the first thing you guys say is playing football. Right there, playing sports. Good, but that's taken already. I want you guys to think about what's important in your life that doesn't require money. Okay? Think about that. And when you think about that, it's important to know what that is, because if you can do something and not be driven by money, you have a freedom you wouldn't know about. I could have easily said, man, I'm making too much money at Walmart, please. We had a baby on the way. But my wife, thank her, God bless me with her. She knew that I wasn't living out my legacy. You got to be about your purpose and not just about your paper. I know many of you guys, they come from a setting where you may be the first one to go on to accomplish some things. And by all means, I'm not telling you to live a life of being a pauper and being broke. But you can make decisions in your life. And I'm very fortunate, I'm very blessed that leaving that income, doing what I was passionate about doing, I've been blessed to continue to live that lifestyle. I'm not bragging, but I want you guys to know it doesn't always have to be about money being it. If you follow your passion, the money will come. Now, what are some things that are important to me that don't require money? Well, of course, my health, my spiritual relationship, and I think we all can agree to that. But other things that are important to me, being able to make a connection with anyone I need to make a connection with. I met your coach, we made a connection, it was great. I met Dominic and Sue, I need to reach out to him to see about him doing some things in the community that came to pass. I needed Jalen Rose, made a connection with Jalen, and he's in the book. President Obama, got pictures with the president, and it goes on and on. Those are things that are important to me. What else is important to me? Being able to provide for my family what they need. Not just what they want, but what they need. Keep a roof over my wife and my daughter's head. Being able to feed them, take care of them, the basic necessities, and do much more that goes along with that. Another, what's important to me? My clothes look good on me. I think I look decent. But these are things that are important to me that don't require money. So let me pose this question to you guys. And I want some responses. Tell me some things that are important to you that don't require money. Who's going to be a leader? What's your name? Jay. Jay? Jalen. How about that? Go ahead. What about family? Your family's important. You do what's right to make sure your family stays intact. That's awesome. They are normal. You. Friends. Tell me more. Don't just give me a word. Tell me more.
Friends are important because they have your support right next to your family.
Awesome. Friends. Family, friends. I love it. Go ahead. What's your name? Damien?
Damien Rogers.
Damien Rogers. Thank you, Dan. What do you have for me?
Education and not pertaining to money. Because if I know something, no one can take that away from me.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Great. Young man in the back. What's your name?
Damien, Mom.
Damien. Hey, Damien. How you doing?
My mom and dad, my two biggest supporters.
Sure.
They always keep me going. They always keep my head focused on what I need to do.
Sure. So your mom and dad love that. Give me some more. I'm coming over here. Show some leadership. Now, some of y'all go scream, coach, keep me on the team, but you can't even step up and express yourself. Come on, I want some more. I'm not stopping till I get some more. Go ahead. John?
Drawing. Oh, no.
Drawing. What's your name? Jimmy. So being an architect, drawing and doing something, that's important. It doesn't require money. I like that. Give me more. Yes, sir. What's your name? Deontay. Go ahead.
My grandma, even when everybody else was putting me down, she was always there.
So that's it, man. Something about a grandmother, man. If I would have got on this highway on Gratiot, drove 7 miles, 7 minutes, I could have got to my grandmother's house. She passed in October. Along with my mother, my grandmother, Miss Madeline Bryant, was my rock. And I named my daughter Madeline after her. So I understand the power of grandmothers. Love your grandmothers. You can't assume they'll be here all the time. I lost my grandmother in October. And it was a heartache, but I understand that. These two, go ahead. Your brothers. Tell me more. I want you to expand beyond family. We're hearing that. That's personal. Give me more. Go ahead. It's teacher responsibility. So you will be a leader on the team throughout the school, right? Excellent. Go ahead. Your name? Jason. What do you have for me? Your mom. Okay. Your mom what? In engineering. Important. What I keep getting from you guys is family. Well, you know this team is a family. Did you know that? Go ahead. Mathematics.
So I like engineering and all that type of stuff. I know that you need to have an education in math.
That's it. So I'm getting the education piece and the family piece. Well, as your coach would say, an open hand is what smack somebody, right? But what can a closed fist do? Huh? Knock somebody out. You know I was talking to your coach, right? Well, this is the family. Well, until people are released from this team, you need to be working to get everybody to the next level. Because believe me, if it was down on you and you were the person who the last person to get cut, you would want someone to push you. I'll leave you with this and we can have some questions. Coach talked about using homework. And I talk about social media. So instead of your social media legacy being online and tweeting stuff that's really inappropriate, get on that YouTube and research your position. Research the position the coach wants you to play. And if you really want to take it there, I want you to look up my friend, Eric Thomas. Look up my friend, Eric Thomas. Eric is a world-renowned motivational speaker who's actually from Detroit. Actually from Detroit. Y'all know about ET?